Hello and welcome to the I've Seen Everything Reaction Wrap-Up podcast. Here is where I share my thoughts, reactions, and review for my latest reaction videos. To find these full reaction videos, please search for @SeenEverything over on YouTube, or check the description of this podcast for more information. Also, please remember to rate and comment on this episode, and follow the podcast so you can see when I'm putting out new wrap-ups. And now, on to my latest wrap-up for 2021's Nobody. Well, that was certainly a different take on that kind of movie. I have to say, not quite as comedic as I would have imagined it would have been. But, I mean, you have to strike a specific kind of balance, I feel like, with something like that. You don't want it to all just be comedy and ridiculous. You want there to be funny moments. But they have to be funny moments like tied to action kind of moments. I mean, action movies themselves have unintentional funny moments or intentional ones but that are tied to like specific kind of action movie type things. Unintentional ones are usually like, holy crap, just something that's so over the top that you can't believe that they actually just did that. And there were a couple of those in here. They did not pull any punches on that fight scene in the bus, just any of them. The big fight scenes in this movie, they did a really good job. Again, I said it during the movie of they gave someone the task of just sitting there and coming up with as many different unique ways to kill bad guys as they could, to organize a huge fight sequence as they could. I was going to say I didn't know if they were going to leave it off where we didn't know if he and his wife reconciled. Because if they did, I had the unfair advantage of knowing there's a Nobody 2 that's out there that's now available on streaming. So obviously he and his wife stayed together, but they ended on that too. The only thing I know about the next one is that it takes place in a island location. Again, movies like this only kind of work as long as they stay fun. Even if the ideas kind of start to get ridiculous, if they stay fun, if they stay entertaining, if they keep the thing about them that keeps people coming back and wanting to see more, the story, it doesn't really matter if everything adds up. It makes me think of the Fast and Furious movies. They have really gone a lot of different places with those movies. I mean, I haven't seen them all, for sure, but just even the little bit I know about them, some of the later movies of those have really started to stretch credibility for something that was originally just about street racing. They've gotten to a point where those characters are basically like superheroes at a certain point, So, but they still deliver on what it is that the audience they're speaking to wants, so they keep coming back to see it. And I don't mean this as a negative term. Kind of junk food kind of movies. Here's what I mean. It's not something that's giving you a lot of depth. It's not something that's giving you a ton of value as far as, oh, this movie's going to change my life. But it's the thing that you sign up for because you know exactly what you're getting into pretty much, and because you like it. And there are a lot of different types of movies that fit into that kind of structure. Fast and the Furious movies fit into that structure. People who love those movies, they go there, they know what they're getting. People who love kind of bad horror movies or B-level horror movies, the stuff that's not going to be like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I ever saw. But the stuff that's like, hey, I kind of know what's going to happen here, but I love horror movies and it's fun and they might throw a couple of things at me I don't expect, but I just enjoy stories like this, just enjoy movies like this, so I'm going to see it. You have that with Hallmark movies. People who watch Hallmark movies, people who watch rom-coms, people who watch all that kind of stuff, they know what they're signing up for. They know they're not going to get a bunch of new, surprising stuff thrown at them for the most part. People who love action movies, it's very much the same thing. They know they're going to get a specific thing when they show up to watch a movie like this. A movie like this, I think, looks to give them something a little bit unique, just in that it adds in a bit more humor. So anything that stands out is nice, But if you show up to watch Taken, John Wick, Die Hard, just any of this stuff, you kind of know what you're getting into, and it's a matter of how effectively it at least meets that expectation. So, in that respect, I really enjoyed this movie. Is this a movie that's going to change your life? Of course not. But is it a fun way to spend an hour and a half? Sure, absolutely. Is this on the same level as a John Wick or even The Equalizer or anything like that? I would feel like those are maybe a step above this as far as their quality as an action movie. But this gets some extra points, I think, for being unique. And it's kind of off the side. Its own little category there. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's it. I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate that you sat here and watched it with me. And I will see you on the next video. Take care. Thanks so much for listening to the I've Seen Everything Reaction Wrap-Up. Again, to find these full reaction videos, please search for @SeenEverything over on YouTube, or check the description of this podcast for more information. Also, please remember to rate and comment on this episode and follow the podcast so you can see when I'm putting out new wrap-ups. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll meet you here for the next episode.